In this video, I'm going to cover how targeting works in DV360. Agenda of this video: Introduction to targeting in DV360, partner level, advertiser level, campaign, IO and line item level targeting. Introduction to targeting in DV360. Main targeting categories available in the platform are inventory source, other categories like audience, content and technology targeting. We shall look into each one in detail. Inventory source targeting. Ad inventory buyers purchase inventory from the publisher or the sellers. To do that, they connect to the demand side platform, and demand side platform connects to the ad exchanges. So DSP not only connect with a single ad exchange, it connects to multiple ad exchanges like AppNexus, Google Ad Manager, OpenX, Programmatic, PulsePoint, Rubicon, etc. So these ad exchanges connects to sellers on the other end and they get the inventory. So ad exchanges are the inventory source. So ad exchange is a central marketplace where it connects both buyers and sellers. On buyer end, it connects to the DSP here. On the seller end, they connect to their sellers. Whenever a request is required from the buyers or DSPs, whenever a request is available from the DSPs, ad exchange fulfill it with the help of sellers they connected to. In this slide, you can see the inventory source targeting in DV360. So this inventory source is available in all the levels except at advertiser level. The options available in the inventory source are quality, public inventory, deals and inventory packages and groups. So quality mainly speaks about ads.txt and we will discuss about this later, and public inventory, deals and groups. Programmatically, DSPs purchase inventory from exchanges through various buying methods. One is open auction, private, preferred deal and programmatic guaranteed. One is open auction, another is private and preferred deal, and private and preferred deal both can be called as PMPs, and another one is programmatic guaranteed. I have explained in my previous videos in detail about all these transaction types. In inventory source, with the help of ad exchanges and by following various buying methods, advertisers or the buyers or inventory buyers with the help of DSPs, they fulfill their requirement. There are other main categories available in DV360. We shall look into various targeting options in platform like language, position, keyword, device, viewability, brand safety, browser targeting and many. Not only DV360, in any DSPs, most of these options are available. So in this platform, we can categorize all these options into three types. One is audience. In audience targeting category, we can see there are four options are available. One is audience list, which contains affinity, in-market and others. Next is geography, day and time and demographics, which involves age, gender, parental status, etc. Another targeting category is content. In content category, there are many targeting options available. In this slide, you can see various targeting options available under content. They are brand safety, apps and URLs, keywords, categories, environment, position, viewability, language, audio and video, and user rewarded content. Under technology targeting, browser, device, connection speed, carrier and ISP comes into picture. So we shall look into each one in detail. Targeting options available at each level of DV360 hierarchy. We already discussed DV360 hierarchy and what are the options available in each level. Partners. Partners holds multiple advertisers. Advertisers holds campaigns and each campaign holds multiple IOs. Each IO holds line items and each line item is associated with multiple creatives. What are the various targeting options available at each level? At partner level, various targeting categories are inventory source, content and audience. Under inventory source targeting, all the options which I have shown earlier is available. In case of content, only few are available, and in audience also only few. Here you can see geography falls under audience targeting, whereas environment, position and channels and URLs, these three falls under content targeting. Whereas we don't have technology targeting at partner level. Likewise, at advertiser level, only content targeting is available. At campaign level, inventory source. In content, only few. In audience, only few options. and there is no technology targeting at campaign level. At IO and line item level, we can find all the options which are required in DV360 are available. And at line item level, the options differs as per the line item type. In the next slides, I am going to show you how each targeting options are differed as per the line item type. YouTube line item have an extra layer like ad groups. In this section, in YouTube line items, you can find content with a few options, audience with a few, and device. Whereas at ad group level, you can find content and audience. So let's focus on partner level targeting. The available categories are inventory source, content with a few options, audience with a few. Partner level inventory source targeting. In this slide, you can see inventory source targeting available at partner level. This is the partner and this is the targeting. At partner level, go to targeting under partner settings. When you click on this, you can see inventory source targeting. So you can see same options like quality, public inventory, deals and inventory packages and groups. Here one note is available. I am going to explain it more. So how inventory source targeting at partner level impact below levels. We shall look into that. It is mentioned as a note here, changes to these settings at partner level, changes to these settings will be the default for new insertion orders and line items and won't impact existing items. I repeat, changes to these settings will be the default for new IOs and line items and won't impact existing ones. So what exactly it means? So we shall take an example and look into that. So this is the DV360 hierarchy where it has partners, under that advertisers are created, campaigns, under that insertion orders, clients, creatives. Let's assume at partner level, when you create, you given 20 exchanges. When you start creating the campaign, you create advertisers, then campaigns and insertion orders. So what happens is, insertion orders and line items will also inherit. Below levels inherit the settings from the above level. So since partner level is targeted with the 20 exchanges, the same will be repeated at insertion order and line item level. As per our previous one, so it is mentioned changes to these settings will be default for new insertion orders. So whatever it is created under these partners, whenever something is new is created, the same settings will be affected. Let's assume once after creation of this, after a month, what I did, I just added 10 more exchanges. So when I add 10 more exchanges, what happens? Let's see. So I created another 2 advertisers. Under that I created campaigns. Now while I creating new IOs and line items, so these 30 exchanges will be inherited by IOs and line items. Whereas existing one, so this is existing one, this is new one. New one will inherit all the exchanges, 30 exchanges from the partner level. Whereas old one, existing one will not inherit because as per the notes mentioned here, changes to these settings will be default for new one and won't impact existing. It says, so this is how it works. When you give some targeting, inventory source targeting some exchanges, what happens is existing will not get affected, whereas new one will get affected. Affected in the sense, new one will inherit. So with this, what happens is we can save lot of time and money. So no need to add 10 more exchanges every time when you create new IOs. So it will automatically get inherited. Let's look at the other targeting categories at the same partner level. Other targeting categories like content targeting, audience targeting, and technology targeting. Partner level settings of other categories is shown in this picture. Click partners. Under that partner settings, you can see the targeting. Under that, you can see various targeting options: geo, environment, position, channels, and URLs. As I mentioned, geo, environment, position, and channel URLs. Geo falls under audience targeting, whereas environment, position, and channels and URLs falls on the content category. content, audience and technology we said, right? Since a partner level has only content and audience, so how this targeting option will impact lower levels of DV360 hierarchy. So in the note it is mentioned 2 points. Changes to channels and URLs will be applied to existing and new items. So something it is mentioned, right? So we will look into that. So first one is changes to channels and URLs will be applied to existing and new items. And B, it is mentioned as changes to other options will be default for new items and won't impact existing items. So what exactly it mean? Let's look into that. First one, it is given as changes to channels and URLs will be applied to existing and new items. That means let's assume we have added 3 channels and 1500 URLs at this partner level. Only channels and URLs will have this effect, whatever it is mentioned. Rest of the things will not impact existing one. At partner level, I have given 3 channels and 1500 URLs. Channels in the sense list of or bulk of URLs that is taken and we create with some name like 100 or 1000 URLs. We will add it into one channel. Likewise, there are 3 channels and 1500 separate URLs. So I targeted at partner level whenever I create new ones. So below levels gets inherited. Here you can see locked for channels and URLs. Once I add it at a partner level, what it shows here is it is locked for advertisers, campaigns, IOs and line items. Advertisers, campaigns, insertion orders and line items. For now, let's focus on insertion orders and line items and advertisers. So after a month, there I need to add few more channels as per the client instructions. So 3 channels is already added, 1500 URLs are already added. Extra, what they asked me to do is 2 channels extra and 500 URLs extra. That means overall it should be 5 channels and 2000 URLs. Now 3 channels and 1500 URLs changed to 5 channels and 2000 URLs. So in this case, as per the note, changes to the channels and URLs will be applied to existing and new one. So this is existing one and this is the new one. So existing will also get changed. Previously it is 3 channels and 1500. Now since I changed at partner level, I have changed from 3 to 5 channels. So even that settings got applied for existing as well as a new one. Likewise, when I create a new one again, so the same thing will be applied below levels in the DV360 hierarchy under the same partner. And another point it is mentioned, changes to other options. That means apart from channels and URLs under this partner level. Except channels and URLs, other options in the sense geo, environment and position. Changes to other options will be default for new items and won't impact existing one. Let's assume at geo I given US as a targeting. And when I create advertiser and below levels, this targeting is inherited as geo US. Now what I did after a month, while creating a new campaign, I added UK as extra. What happens is this extra region which is targeted, which extra country, extra geo targeting is inherited for a new one, whereas existing won't get affected. So existing follows with the same US, and whereas for a new one will follow US and UK. Because it is mentioned changes to other option will be default. So geo is other option, geo is other option. So changes to other options will be default for new items and won't impact existing items. So existing items is not impacted, whereas it is impacted only new one. Again, whenever I create with the same one, so it gets inherited by it for a new one, whereas old one will not get inherited. Likewise, the targeting works at a partner level. How targeting works at advertiser level. Available categories are only content. So there is no audience or technology or inventory source targeting. Only content category is available. In that only few are available. Since inventory source targeting is not available, we are not discussing about that. We shall look into other targeting categories. So these are the main targeting categories available. So what you can do at advertiser level, select the advertiser, go to advertiser settings. In that select targeting. Once you select targeting, you can see all these options: brand safety, channels and URLs, and viewability. Even here at advertiser level, there is a note mentioned: changes to these settings will be applied to existing and new insertion orders and line items. One is brand safety, channels and URLs, and viewability. All these three comes under content category. Let's look at viewability option here. In viewability, two options are available. When you edit it here at advertiser level, you can see two options. One is open measurement, target only open measurement enabled mobile display inventory. Another one is viewability exemptions. So these two options are available. You can select both or single. What happened here is it is locked for campaigns, insertion orders, and line items. That means whenever you create campaigns, insertion orders, and line item, the same setting will be followed, because you want this setting to be applied for all the below levels. In this way, we can save the time. Let's go to another one, channels and URLs. So in channels and URLs, when you edit, you can see two things: channels, YouTube, and partner URLs. Channels are nothing but it's a group of URLs that you want to create and add it into block list, or inclusion or exclusion, you can do it. For example, there are 1,000 sites which you don't want your brand to be shown in that sites, like any weapons or any drugs related. So you found out and you made it a channel, like blacklist these channels. You named it. You made it as a exclusion here. That's the reason it is in this symbol. Now YouTube URLs. YouTube URLs, you found a few YouTube URLs, you don't want it to be included. I mean, when you create a YouTube campaign, you don't want your YouTube ads to be displayed on few YouTube channels or content. So what you can do, you can select those URLs and you can exclude here, so that it will be applied to campaigns, IOs, and line items. So these channels and YouTube URLs, whatever it is shown, so it will be followed for the below levels. So here it is shown, right? It is logged for campaigns, insertion orders, and line items. When this type of option is useful, for example, during COVID time, a brand advertiser want to exclude 1500 sites which is related to COVID, and he don't want to show their ads. So what he can do is he collect the list of COVID related website URLs, he create a channel and block list it, so that he can all at once he can apply to all the campaigns, IOs, and line items. There may be multiple 10 or 20 or 100 campaigns running under this advertiser. Instead of going to each campaign or below levels, if he apply at advertiser level, all the levels gets applied. In the same way for YouTube also, whatever you do it here, it gets applied to the YouTube campaigns. Another option is brand safety. Let's edit it. In this section, you can find display and video and YouTube. When you select this option, it will be applied whenever you create a new line, so that always you don't need to change it. For example, I want to select mature and not yet labeled, these last two options, so that whenever you create new ones, these two things gets applied by default and it gets logged. For example, I created it for 3. So whenever I create a new campaigns or IOs or line items, so always at a brand safety, wherever I select, so these 3 things gets logged. When it comes to YouTube, select the digital content labels to exclude. So we can, even here for YouTube also we can do that. Whenever we create a YouTube line item or YouTube line item, so there we have an option to do this. When you select this at advertiser level, at line item level, this gets logged, so that you no need to create always. So once you do this, logged for campaigns, IOs, and line items. How targeting categories at advertiser level impact other levels. So it is mentioned here. For these 3 options, how it works depends upon this option. Changes to these settings will be applied to existing or new insertion orders and line items. So let's assume there is a partner I created 3 advertisers. Under each advertiser we have campaigns. Campaigns are created under each advertiser. Let's assume I have given 3 channels. I excluded 3 channels and YouTube placements of 200 items at advertiser level. Whenever a new insertion order is created, these three channels will already get excluded. When a display line item is created, so these three channels shows as exclusion. In the exclusion list, these three channels are available. So for YouTube placements, exclusion list is available only for the YouTube lines. So what we can do is, let's add 2 additional channels and 1000 YouTube URLs at advertiser level. Once I do that, changes to these settings will be applied to existing. So whatever we created earlier is existing one. So when I change from 3 to 5, and when I change this number from 1000 to some extra numbers, whenever something is added, the existing will also get impacted. Previously it was 3 channels and 2000. Now it is 5 channels and 3000 for existing one. That means whatever the changes you made at advertiser level, even below level existing one and new one also gets impacted. So new one will get inherited and existing one will impacted by the above level changes. So channel URLs, you can see it's locked for campaigns, insertion order, line items. So this restriction is applied at advertiser level. So let's assume there are 3 types of channels created and 215 items are given at the YouTube partner and URLs, and this restriction is given. Now when I create a new display line item, these 3 channels get locked and is shown here. Advertiser level restriction applied at the line items. So this is the display line item. So these 3 channels, exclusion list of these excluded channels will appear when you create a display line item. Likewise, you blacklisted 215 items at advertiser level. So when you create placements, so automatically those 215 get excluded. So advertiser level restriction applied at YouTube ad groups. So when you create ad groups, automatically these YouTube placements will also get excluded. So this ad group level targeting is from the YouTube line item and this is from the display line item. YouTube line items exclusion is applied only for YouTube. So I have shown you the screenshot here. Ad group level targeting only related to the placements, and channels applied only for non-YouTube. Targeting at campaign level. Let's understand how targeting works at campaign level in DV360. Targeting categories available at campaign level are inventory source, content, audience. There is no technology targeting at campaign level. Let's understand inventory source targeting at campaign level. In this slide, you can see campaign level settings of inventory source targeting. So this is same as partner level targeting inventory source, and new insertion orders and line items in this campaign will inherit these settings. So please remember. And quality is the place where you can select authorized direct sellers and others. We shall look into that later. Now let's understand how inventory source targeting at campaign level impact below levels. That means whatever you select at inventory source, the targeting part, how it going to impact the below levels. So it is mentioned new insertion orders or line items, new IOs and line items in this campaign. So when you create new IOs and line items under this campaign, will inherit these settings. So they did not mention any existing one, only new ones will be affected. So what exactly it means, we shall look into that. Let's assume at campaign level, we have targeted 12 exchanges and 4 sub exchanges. I repeat, at campaign level. So whatever you see in this slide is inventory source targeting section while you creating a campaign. Let's assume you added 12 exchanges and 4 sub exchanges. When you select it, it shows 12 exchanges and 4 sub exchanges are selected. IO level. So after creation of the campaign, you create a new insertion order. So while you create new insertion order, it will inherit from the campaign level. So targeting inherited from the campaign 1, IO level has 12 exchanges and 4 sub exchanges. Campaign level there are 12 and 4. The same is inherited by the insertion order. So insertion order targeting settings of inventory source, it shows 12 exchanges and 4 sub exchanges. You can see here. Even line item also follows the same. Targeting inherited from the campaign and IO level. Line item level has 8 exchanges and 4 sub exchanges. For example, here for display line item, let's take, there are multiple line item types. Let's take display line item. Instead of having 12 exchanges, you can see 8 exchanges and 4 sub exchanges. This is because since the display line item purchase only display type inventory, so what happens is 4 other exchanges are only specific to the video. That is the reason 4 exchanges got unselected and only 8 exchanges are showing here. For example, like AppNexus, Google Ad Manager, GumGum, Improve Digital, Index Exchange, Magnite, OpenX, Programmatic. So these are the exchanges which provides display inventory. Why there is only 8 exchanges at LA level even though IO has more than 8? So you can see at campaign level 12 and 4, at insertion order level 12 and 4, but you can see 8 and 4 sub exchanges, because if you observe at IO level, the exchanges that are selected are AdSwiss, OpenX, Freewheel, Google Ad Manager and others. Whatever I highlighted here, those are non-display. For example, AdSwiss, Freewheel, Magnet, CTV, SpotX. So these exchanges are providing non-display inventory. Look at the display line item. The 8 exchanges which are selected are AppNexus, Google Ad Manager and others, apart from the 4 I highlighted. So these 4 are from non-display and remaining are 8 providing the display inventory. That's the reason when it inherited, only it has taken exchanges which gives a display inventory. Now let us look at the other targeting option categories. Campaign settings are targeting at other categories. So these are the various targeting options available at campaign level: demographics, geo, language and brand safety. Demo and geo falls under audience targeting, whereas language and brand safety falls under content targeting. Language, brand safety, viewability, environment, position, and in audience, demo and geo. So other technology targeting is not available, as well as there are other options under the content. So even those options are also not available, like ad position, apps and URLs, etc. In audience also, other options like audience list and other options are not available. At campaign level, you can see only these few targeting options. New insertion orders and line items in this campaign will inherit. That means there is no impact on the existing one. How other targeting categories at campaign level impact below levels. So new insertion orders and line item in this campaign will inherit these settings. So please remember. So what exactly it means, we shall look into that. So there is a partner, there is a hierarchy. We created a partners. Under that, advertisers are created. Under that, campaigns, IOs, line items and other sections are created. Under this partner, there are multiple advertiser. Let's take this advertiser 1, and existing one has 20 exchanges which is inherited. New IOs and line items inherit those new exchanges, whereas old one will not. So let's take another example. We have seen the previous settings which will not affect the existing one, whereas only new one will affect it. So 20 exchanges are targeted at partner level and same is inherited. And when there is a change happened, the existing one is not impacted, whereas new one got impacted. We have seen that at partner level. Now let's apply the same concept at advertiser level. Let's see. At a campaign level, we have language, brand safety, demo and geo. So these 4 are targeted. So what it shows here, new insertion orders and line items in this campaign will inherit these settings. This slide shows how it looks once the targeting is applied for demo, geo, language, brand safety. Campaign level, language, brand safety, demo and geo is targeted. The same will be inherited by the insertion orders whenever new one is created. And even line items also inherit the same from the insertion orders. Along with the campaign level, inherited from the higher levels. So when you create a new insertion order under this campaign, even though apps and URLs viewability are not from the campaign level, insertion order will take from the higher levels like advertiser and partner level. Under the same campaign, when a new insertion order is created, along with the brand safety, language, geo and demo, apps and URLs and viewability also inherited, because these are from the above levels which is already targeted. Other options that are added from higher levels. Here insertion order levels, it shows this. That means when you create a new insertion order, no need to create all these options. No need to work on all these options to add. So this saves a lot of time for us. From where those 2 options are added? So we should look into that. So we discussed it, right? These two options are added. That's the same thing, I explained it again. So let's have a clear picture on that. At campaign level, language, brand safety, demo and geo is targeted. At insertion order level, language, brand safety, demo and geo, along with that apps and viewability is also inherited from the above levels. This line item also inherited, even this line item also. At advertiser level, we given apps and URLs and viewability. At campaign level, we given language, brand safety, demo and geo. Whatever the apps and URLs and viewability is shown at insertion order and line item is inherited from the advertiser, where other four are inherited from the campaign level. That's the reason you can see advertiser level targeting we have already shown you. At brand safety, let's assume we have added these channels and viewability. Three are available here, apps and URLs and viewability. Whereas brand safety is again, it is edited at the campaign level. That's the reason it is edited, it's shown here, and language, demo and geography is also shown here. Finally, from the insertion order inherited from both campaign and advertiser level targeting. Now let's look at how insertion order level targeting works. So at this level, all kind of targeting categories are available, like inventory source, content, audience and technology. Let's look at the inventory source targeting. How inventory source targeting at IO level impact line items. So we are not bothered about the above, only below level, that is line items. The notes that is given here are: changes to these settings will be default for new line items and won't impact existing one. So the same thing which we have discussed previously. So new line items will only get affected whatever you make changes, and it doesn't impact existing one. Another point to remember, targeting set on insertion orders doesn't apply to YouTube and partner line items. The targeting whatever you give at insertion order doesn't apply to YouTube and partner line items. So what does it mean? Let's check with an example here. In this slide, I have given at insertion order, there are 12 exchanges and 4 sub-exchanges are selected. Below shown targeting inherited from the higher level. IO level has 12 exchanges and 4 sub-exchanges. These 12 exchanges and 4 sub-exchanges are inherited from the above level, and it is added while creating a new insertion order. So that we reduce we can save the time in adding these exchanges, which is repeated for or common for all the IOs under the same advertiser. Now while you're creating a new display line item, here it is shown 8 exchanges and 4 sub-exchanges, which is inherited from the IO level. So the reason we have already seen, I'm just explaining once again. Since IO exchanges is combination of both video, audio and all exchanges, that's the reason everything got included. Whereas for display line item, only display inventory they required. That's the reason whatever the exchanges which don't provide display, they got excluded, and only exchanges which supply the display inventory, they got included. That's the reason you can see 8 exchanges instead of 12. At IO level, what are the other targeting categories? At IO level, all the options are available here: content, audience and technology. In content, all these options like brand safety, apps and URLs, keywords, categories, environment, position, viewability, language, audio, video, user rewarded content. Here we have to remember, new line items in this IO will inherit these settings. Targeting set on IO doesn't apply to YouTube. Let's assume advertiser level, we have given apps and URLs exclusion and viewability. At campaign level, I have given language, brand safety, demo and geo. So when I create a new line insertion order, new IO here, language, brand safety, demo, geo, this is inherited from campaign, whereas apps and URLs and viewability is inherited from the advertiser level. The same follows for the line items. This is the step 1. So when you create a new line item and see the inherited settings. So existing IO has brand safety, apps and URLs. So in this slide, you can see the DV360 targeting options dashboard part. So brand safety, apps and URLs is added, which we discussed already. Viewability and language, geography, demographics. Only 6 are added here. Line items under this IO inherit these settings. Whatever the targeting is given, it will be inherited. So brand safety, apps, viewability targeting, geo and demo. All these options are inherited from the existing IO. Line item level settings inherited from the higher levels. So once you add all those, so this slide shows how exactly it looks like once after the addition. Brand safety, apps and URLs, viewability, language, geo and demo. Whatever we added, it's shown here. Now any targeting option to that LI. So what we can do is we can add some another targeting option like environment. The same setting, everything is same, only we added extra environment option at line item level. So this is existing one and new line item under this IO. Let's add environment. So if I add environment, only this whatever the line item we added, only that line item gets affected. If multiple line items requires to target same targeting options, that means all the line items have common requirement, you can add those options at IO level. At IO level you can give it. For example, if you are working for a client of same region like US and speaks English language and have some brand safety requirement, follows the same thing and viewability of 70%, whatever the brand standard options, you can set it at insertion orders. The same targeting options will be inherited by the below level. Let's assume 14 options is given at IO level. The same options will be inherited by the line items. So all the line items will inherit the same. It avoids repetitive task of adding those options again for these lines while creating. So we can add 14 options for one, second time we can add, third time. Every time when you create new line items and adding is very difficult. And time consuming also. So with this kind of setup, you can make it possible. Step 2, addition of extra targeting options to the existing IO of case 1. So what we are doing here is, for existing IO we are adding. Then add any targeting option to the LI. So existing IO is given. Environment is added. Instead of line item, we are adding it to the IO. Added this option to the existing IO, which becomes new targeting option at IO. So what happens is, before case, one IO is created, line item is created, all the targeting options are set. Now for existing IO, I have created environment. I have added environment as a extra targeting option. Now when I create a new line item, let's assume I am creating a new video line item. Along with the 6 options, the 7th option will also get added because these settings are inherited from the above level. So by these changes, when you create new line item, line inherits new settings. Whatever the new targeting options you given, the same options will be inherited. So existing line item, let's take this is the display one. For display, even after addition at IO level, existing line item is not get affected, whereas new line got affected. 7 options, 7, 6. Existing IO, existing line item, new line item. Step 3, addition of multiple targeting options to the existing IO at step 2. Create a new line item and observe how this inherited. Let's understand this. There is an existing IO which is having 7 options: brand safety, apps and URLs, environment, viewability, language, geo, demo. Existing IO at step 2. This is the existing IO at step 2. Newly added options here are categories, position, viewability, audio and video. Existing IO with a new targeting option. So for the same IO, I have added extra addition of multiple targeting options to the existing IO. Now, when I create a new one, another new line item. Now this is line item 3. Newly added options are here and inherited from new line item. So even when I created another line item, the same targeting new options will be inherited along with the old one. So IO and line item are having the same options, the newly created one. So existing line item which we added earlier will not get affected. Newly created line item will inherit it. Options gets inherited, whereas existing one will not get affected. Existing IO, existing line item, new video line. Targeting at line item level. Available categories are inventory source, content, audience, and technology. So whatever the targeting options available in DV360 are completely available at IO and line item level. So let's look at the inventory source. So we already discussed at IO level, let's assume 12 exchanges and 4 sub exchanges as an example. We have given it at IO level. Now when you create a new line item, as per the line item type, the exchanges gets inherited and remaining get excluded. So since it is display, only few exchanges you can see and remaining are excluded because they don't supply display inventory. The same thing I am repeating once again. Why there are only 8 exchanges at line item even though at IO level there are more than 8 exchanges. IO has more exchanges. It includes display as well as other media types. Display line item will only accept the exchanges which provides a display inventory. That's the reason you don't find other exchanges. Apart from display, there are many line item types. Now when it comes to video, you can see 11 exchanges and 4. So extra 3 are added here because those 3 extra are supporting the video. So here in this case, all are added except ADVERTISER because ADVERTISER only support audio. That's the reason it got excluded. Previously here SpotX is not added. In this case SpotX is added because SpotX supports video. That's the reason it got added along with other exchanges. When it comes to audio, 3 exchanges are selected. That's the reason you can see 3 exchanges and 4 sub exchanges are selected. ADVERTISER, Google Ad Manager and Magnet DV Place are supporting the audio inventory. That's the reason for audio you can see only 3 exchanges. And for mobile app install line item, and it's showing like 8 exchanges and 4 sub exchanges, the same like display line item. Whereas ads in mobile apps is also having 8 exchanges and 4 sub exchanges. Ads in mobile apps video. So ads in mobile app display have 8 and 4, whereas ads in mobile apps have video. That means these complete numbers we are taking an example of IO which contains 12 exchanges and 4. That's the reason these are the numbers we are seeing. It doesn't mean that everyone follows the same. For our example, we are just comparing it with other exchanges. So ads in mobile apps for video, we have similarly 11 exchanges and 4, just like video line. Next is YouTube video line. So here for in-stream, non-skippable and bumper, you can see include video partners as extra inventory source apart from YouTube search and videos. So inventory source available are YouTube search, YouTube videos, and include video partners. We will discuss more about this in future videos. Even for website conversion, you can have inventory source as such video and video partners. For YouTube audio line item, YouTube videos and video partners are available. For Gmail line item, you can see Gmail. Only one is available. Till now we have discussed inventory source targeting. Let's look at the other targeting categories. There are different line item types. Let's compare each one and understand how it differs from IO level targeting to line item level. In this slide, you can see display line item. So these are the various targeting options at the line item level for the display line. In content, you can find few options when compared with IO level. Audio and video user rewarded content, these 2 options are not available, except that all options are available for display because display doesn't support video other options, right? That's the reason. From this you can understand whatever the targeting options which is available at IO level, all targeting the same options are there for display except audio video user rewarded content. These 2 options are not available. Next one is video line item type. When you select this, the targeting options available, the same targeting options available for video and user rewarded content is extra. From IO level, each one is taken except audio. Except audio, all options are present in the line item when compared with the IO. Audio line item type. So in case of audio line item, viewability, video and user rewarded content. These 3 options are not available. Also language. In case of audio line item, all the targeting options are there when compared with IO level except video, viewability, user rewarded content. Mobile app install line item type has display and video. This is similar to the display one. When compared with IO, Categories environment is not available for both video and display. In technology, browser is not available. Since this is for mobile app, right? So we don't find browser here. Another one, ads in mobile apps. Categories environment is not present for ads in mobile apps because an environment is anyway it is mobile, and technology wise browser is not available here because this is mobile app. That's the reason this option is not there. Apart from this, all options are available. Now Gmail line item. From IO level, from all the options, only keyword, environment and language is there for Gmail, and audience and technology, all 4 options are available here. For YouTube partners and video, what happens is line item level has few content options, ad group level has few content options. In audience section, geo and day and time is available at line item, whereas demo and audience list is available at ad group level. In technology section, only device is available, and whereas other remaining 3 targeting options are not there. Video and audio follows the same targeting options.